People shouldn't be signing contracts, Mark, that they don't know what they're getting themselves into, es- especially buyer agency ones.
Right. They don't, and I agree with that too. It's like they don't know, they don't know the agent. A lot of agents get referrals. Oh, you so and so, a cousin of mine or a friend of mine that works an agent, and they go, okay, well, they must be good because Billy's a great guy or Sally's a great guy, girl. So they could be okay. And look what happens. Now they have a contract. They don't know anything about it. They're probably brand new to the buying process. They probably tie them up for 6 or 7 months, and then the relationship fumbles. And then they're stuck with that agent.
Well,
So,
and I've always said too, there's two things. One, there's a bunch of agents that won't even get in the car to show you a property unless you sign a contract with them, eh?
yeah, I know. And I don't believe in that. One sec.
You can get them to sign it just for that property. If you're going to sign it, you say, just put the address of the property you're showing me.
Right,
If
right.
you don't know this person, you've never met them before, you don't know how they're going to work for you, or if they will work for you the
Mhm.
way you need them to,
Mhm.
you don't sign anything. I wouldn't sign a contract with someone I don't know. Would you?
Never, never, never. And that's the thing, right? So we want to show the audience, we're going to go through a BA, how to fill one out, maybe what people can look for, look at dates, right? Look at the
Address.
addresses, looking at the geographical area, what type of property you put in there. It's all relevant information. And I got a call last week from a gentleman on my channel where he signed something. He's locked in till December and he's going, the agent's terrible. It came from a friend of a friend, which is always the same story. Folks, interview a couple people. No one's just because they're a friend of a friend, no one says you got to work with them. And if they're putting a contract in your face, run, because I think it's a wrong approach. I never do that approach. They don't know me. I feel uncomfortable putting it in. Do I use them if someone says, hey, Mark, we want to come and see your listing in Barrie and we're coming from Toronto? Yeah, we get stung all the time. Yeah, we'll do one for that property, 100%. That's it. But I'm
E-
not going
e-
to lock
e-
someone up.
Exactly. And, I liken it to, when you go into a store and somebody's following you around and they say,
Right.
oh, can I help you? And no, 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 I don't need any help. And they keep following you around. Are you sure you don't need any help? No, I don't. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to be personally bothered by somebody in sales, telling me that I have to use their help. I don't need their help.
You have to build the trust.
Yes.
Got to earn their trust. That's the thing. People want to work with people that they feel they can trust. Someone's putting something like that in your face, to me, that's starting the relationship on the wrong foot. Maybe introduce it later on. Once you get comfortable and say, hey, by the way, you know what? We seem to be hitting it off pretty good. Why don't you would you mind? I feel like I'd like to represent you folks and we're comfortable. Would you mind signing this and explaining the BA? A lot of people just go here, sign here, and they don't know what they're signing, and then they're locked in. And they go, oh my God, I hate the agent. And what does this mean? Oh, we're locked up for 6 months or a
You know what
year.
happened to me? So one of my clients had a listing with a big team in Barrie, and they weren't happy with their service. So they got out of they got asked for the cancellation of the listing agreement.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, can I see all your paperwork? They had a buyer agency agreement signed at the very same time
Mhm.
that they got the listing, and the client didn't even know for six
Right.
months.
You think about it. They're signing a lot of papers, right? Listing a home it's a pretty intense, stressful thing. You're going over numbers, you're going over what the valuation is, this and this, the days on market, talking about everything. And then you funnel all the paperwork to them and they sign here, sign here. Some agents aren't even going through it. So they're signing papers over paper over paper. Meanwhile, the agent goes back to the team, the leader of the team said, great, I got the listing signed for 6 months and I got a BA signed for a year. We're locked up. There's 100 grand of commissions. Could be, depending on the price.
Well, the issue was, I said to him, well, I can't help you buy a house. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you signed a contract, a buyer agency with them. Well, I want out of it. I said, well, then you have to go get out of it.
Get out of it.
He
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
He had to get a cancellation of it, but he said, Diane, I didn't sign with them. I said, you did. And I showed him the contract. So they didn't even realize what they were signing.
Right. So buyers, what I would recommend doing is that go out with the agent a few times. Let's see what the feedback is. See what the personalities blend together. What's the relationship? Is it building? when I have questions, how fast do they get back to me? Are they prompt at getting back to me? Or am I getting knowledge from this agent, his or him or her?
Well, and if they're
I'll
demanding
sign
that you
it.
sign before they even show you a house,
Yeah, I don't believe in it. I
I
don't.
I've never done it and I won't do it.
No.
So keep that in
So
mind.
so let's go through, let's open up a buyer agency to, take our time showing the viewers what's important on it and some red flags that they should done and just fill it out.
Yeah. So the first thing, okay, between broker, Sutton Group incentive.
That's the realty. There's our address. Put my
Yeah.
name.
We'll put Mark Turcott. I'm not going to do
No,
this.
just put, yeah,
No.
yeah. Just, you know, put Barry, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're commencing it right now, Mark.
Okay.
We'll put 5. Sorry. On the 3rd day of October.
Mhm.
And I'm only going to make you go for 60 days, okay?
And that's a good point. And so, folks, why I want Diane to go through this is that we want to do it for you, so you can exactly see. Oh, maybe we'll just do 60 days. Some people put a year, and you're not really looking at these fields, and you should be looking at these fields.
Yes.
And
So buyer acknowledges that the time period for this agreement is negotiable between the buyer and brokerage. However, in accordance with the trust of real estate, the buyer must obtain the buyer's initials. So this is basically explaining that it is negotiable and you initial there. So the property type, Mark, we're going to look for residential.
Mhm.
We're not going to say if it's a condo or a house. We're just going to say it's residential. If it was a commercial property, I'd put that.
Right,
Geographic location. So now I could say Simcoe County, which covers everything.
correct.
I could say Barrie.
And it only covers Barry. So let's pause it there for a second. So I'm gonna go to Barry, then jump to Simcoe County. So Barry is just in Barry. So if I'm a buyer working with you and I'm not really enjoying it, I'm gonna call Tom Smith, the real estate agent in Innisfil, free and clear to go there. Correct?
Unless you buy in Barrie.
Right.
You
If you
can't
put
buy in Barrie though.
right, you're under contract, right. But so there's ways of going around that. And then you put Simcoe County, which covers the whole area, a little different.
Okay, now you called me for my listing in Innisfil.
Mhm.
And I say, well, Mark, I want a BA. And you say to me, well, I only want it for this property. So
Correct.
now I only have rights and you're only contractually obligated for this address. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And do you think the residential's a little vague too? I wonder how that would turn up because it could be condo, it could be detached. We could,
Residential means condo. It means detached. It means
okay.
everything.
All right. Okay.
That's why I always put residential because say, hold on, my dog's freaking out here.
Diane's dog's always freaking out.
Oh, I think she sees a chipmunk. Say I went and put a condo and then you decided not to buy a condo and you wanted to do a townhouse.
Right. Okay.
So a townhouse, a condo, a detached, sometimes people change their minds.
Mhm.
So residential means any residential property that somebody can live in. So it's not commercial.
All right. Fair. Okay. Okay.
So then the buyer warrants is not a party to a representation agreement with any other registered real estate brokerage. So now you're initialing saying, I don't have a contract signed with anybody else.
Okay.
Then down here, there's a whole bunch of, this talks about buyer includes a purchaser, tenant, and leasee. A seller includes a vendor, a landlord, or a lessor or a prospective seller. It just kind of lays out who is who.
Yep. Okay.
The commission.
Yeah, that's a big one. So you talk about it a bit, fill it out, and then I want to come in with something.
Okay. So the commission is that the seller pays the commission if you're a buyer.
On all properties. So buyers, you don't pay a commission, but there's a little bit of a change coming after Diane explains a little bit more.
So if it says 2.5% here, which is the going rated commission for a buying agent in Barrie right now, and that's all, and you leave it like this, if the commission is 2%, the buyer has to make up the 0.5 difference.
Right. That was where I was going with it. So
what I do, I put 2.5 of the sale price or as advertised.
Right.
So if it's advertised at 2%, I only get 2%.
So that's very important because, there is some discount brokerages that are offering, say, $4,000 or $5,000 to a buying agent, buying brokerage, right? So as advertised, it really protects, excuse me, the buyer from paying out of pocket.
I know agents that have gone after people.
No, for sure.
They just put 2.5 and that's it, and you got to pay the difference.
Right. No, glad you went through that. Good.
And this is for a lease. A
Right.
commission of usually half of 1 month's rent if it was a lease, right? Okay. The buyer agrees to pay the brokerage such commission if the buyers enter an agreement within so many days after the expiration of this agreement, the holdover period, to purchase or lease any real property shown or introduced to the buyer from any source whatsoever during the term of this agreement. So what this little clause is saying, this whole clause, is if I have a buyer agency agreement signed with you, and you went to an open house and you met another agent, and the day after December 3rd, you went and purchased with them, technically, within however days I put on here, you would still owe me the commission of 2.5.
My recommendation, put 0 days.
Right? You put 0 or at least 30.
Yeah. From a buying standpoint, you know what I mean? If people are introducing these contracts and people, and you don't know them, go through them and say, no, I want 0 days. Because then you're kind of stuck. Because I heard many situations where this has happened, right? Where so-and-so they introduce the property by their old one, and some comes in, it's 30 days after, they're getting the commission. But if you look down here, it talks about brokerage. Let me see. If a buyer enters into a new representation agreement with any other registered real estate brokerage after the expiration of this agreement, the buyer's liability to pay commission to the brokerage shall be reduced by the amount paid to the other brokerage on a new agreement. So you have to make sure that they match.
Yes.
You don't, the other guy's getting it. And it's happened many times. I've talked to Gary about it. So again,
I don't agree with 0 days, because I look at that one that I got screwed on, where she actually started doing the deal while she was still under contract with me to an agent that showed the property when I listed it, and I paid for flooring and I did all this stuff to help her. And then somebody put in an offer. She canceled the listing, went back to that guy and sold it direct to that with that agent.
Yeah. I'm only looking at it from a buyer standpoint. I'm only looking at this as if you came to my door and said, okay, great, we're going to go show some properties today, and you put this in my face, that's all. I'm looking at it.
If I showed you a property, I just did showings the last couple weekends in a row. So if I went and looked at a property with you, and now you go and you wait for this to run out, and you go the day after back to that property and buy it with that agent direct.
Well, I know. I get that part. Mine was more of looking at from a standpoint where the buyer doesn't, have this relationship with the agent. The agent puts it in their front seat of their car and says, sign here, and the way they go off looking at properties. I don't know. Just be careful.
And honestly, Mark, I don't even really get these signed, because
I don't either.
People that want to work with me, and I have a lot of people that want to work with me, I don't make them sign something to stay with me.
No.
If they're
No,
not happy with me, they're free to go.
100%. Yep. Yep.
So representation and multi-representation is the explanation of people buying and selling the properties on their own. Or
Right.
sorry, like you, I'm selling my own listing and representing two parties.
Right. You're representing a seller, you're representing a buyer.
Yeah, so this explains where the duties lie.
Yep.
And now we have to be a designated sales representative, so we're only supposed to really work with one person,
Yep. Yep.
right? And the buyer identification, that we have to be qualified, obviously.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm trying to see what the referral of properties. Oh, so this is like if they find a property from another source.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're working with someone. So again, a lot of buyers are, live on houseStigmanRealtor.ca, and I get them all the time. People go,
Hmm.
what about this property? What about this one? And I'll give my comments. And I say, yeah, I didn't send it to you because I don't like the area, or because you know what, the price is way overpriced, or it's been I'll give some digging in the properties and stuff like that. But then there's some going, yeah, that's great. So again, it's a relationship, right? You're working
Yeah.
together. Yeah, that's a good property. We should go look at it. So referral stuff like that, let the agent know. Okay.
And if there's a finder's fee, you can charge a finder's fee to find properties, but nobody does that.
No, no. Yeah,
And
don't worry.
this is just the last page where you're allowed to use electronic signatures and communication, the successors and assigners, so that, the executors, administrator, if someone passes, are bound by the agreement as well. So if you had a listing agreement and somebody passed halfway through, technically, you would still have to stay listed with that agent.
Right. Right.
Now, I think as an agent, if everything was going to hell and somebody passed away, I mean, I don't think we're that heartless not to work with somebody.
Oh, 100%. It's just, I think I'm sure this gave some new buyers that don't understand the process and don't understand what they're getting into. I think this really provided some good insight. I think we covered off a lot of important parts of that agreement to, protect them.
Yeah, and this just talks about the use and distribution of information and, what's allowed, what's not allowed, and the conflict of or discrepancy. So everything listed in here is basically the agreement, and that is what's the law and the standard is. You know what I mean? If there's a discrepancy in there,
Yep.
basically everything written in here comes before. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
And then
Good.
this is the signing page
Right.
that
Well,
everybody just signs off.
okay, I think that's a wrap. I hope our viewers have a good understanding of what that is about. Anyone wants more information on very Simcoe County real estate market, reach out to Dan and myself, and follow for more information on our channels. See ya.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna get a lot of heat for saying that we don't sign them right away. That's for sure.
I don't care. I don't care,
I,
people. Great.
well,
That's what
you know
agents
what? How
are.
many
Buyers
times?
appreciate it.
Well, yeah, but how many times have you heard of people that had BA signed and it didn't matter anyway?
It happens, I know.
All the time. And how
Yep.
many agents bring people to court?
Not many. Some do though.
Some do, but not many.
Not many. So, folks, hope you had a great understanding of what a buyer's representation agreement is all about. See ya.
See ya.